The flow state is activating in ways I cannot comprehend. Come on. Come on. Yo, welcome back, y'all. In today's video, we got some Domina gameplay for you. As you guys know, Overwatch Season 1 dropped a little over a week ago now, and everyone's been getting a chance to kind of play as some of the new heroes. I've particularly been loving playing Domina. So in this video, we're going to showcase some of her gameplay, as well as maybe talk through some tips and tricks that I've learned while I've been playing Domina. But I hope you guys enjoy. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So some big things I noted over, playing Domina initially over this last week and a half is playstyle. So initially, when I first started playing Domina, my whole strategy was like, oh, okay, since I have all this range, I'm just gonna sit way back here and just do as much damage as I can and never get in close. And that is, like, in some instances, that is the way to go. And sometimes, you should stay back and not kind of just feed if, you're low or whatever the situation might be, or they're playing a little more aggressive, or you don't even have your full team. In those instances, having Domina's range is great. But I think what a lot of people kind of fail to see is Domina is borderline a brawl tank. Domina has so much utility in order to stop the dive, in order to engage in fights, that she can really get in there and then has the kit to kind of get out as well. So a big piece of that is shield dancing. So what I'd like to do a lot is I'll try to do my damage here. Of course, a lot of times they're going to approach because they know that they can't shoot through your shield, or that it breaks into compartments. So a lot of times they'll try to push up. What you can do to combat that is your sonic repulsors. So you can continue to keep them at range, continue to shield dance while doing your damage, and just go back and forth to just get as much util out of her as possible. And when you need to disengage, simply back up and you can still have the range. So there's no reason to, kill yourself in order to try to engage in a brawl or engage in a fight, but you absolutely have the capability to do that. So don't be scared to kind of get up close and be able to fight. That's a big piece of what I've learned while I've been playing Domina. Another tip in terms of kind of how I use Domina and for my playstyle are the perks. So in order for whatever perks you guys, at the end of the day, perks are a preference. They're depending on your playstyle and what works best for you. For my playstyle, I think having extended range for when I do need to disengage and need to play a little further back, she already has the longest beam in the game. Now, adding on to that by an additional 20% is just crazy in my opinion. So I think that is the best. I think that's kind of like adds the most util to Domina's playstyle. But efficient design isn't a bad one to go with either. So after using barrier array, you restore 50 shields and active passive health regeneration. So I mean, especially if you're in a brawl, if you're low and you don't have your healers to kind of rely on in some scenarios, having efficient design will work out as well for you sometimes. I just don't think it's worth giving up the extra range, in my opinion. For my major perk, I always go with disruptive detonation. Don't get me wrong, I think barrier array is a great one as well. So being able to stun your enemies into your wall with sonic repulsors is huge, and you get an 100% increase in damage for doing that. Personally, I feel like I do brawl, but not more than I kind of like sit back and do my damage before engaging into a brawl. So I don't think I use that enough, but I do use crystal charge all the time. So I'm using that constantly, and I think them being slowed by 30% for 2 seconds is huge, especially when you have someone who's trying to escape or even engage when you're trying to disengage. So I think it comes into play a little more often than, the stun into your barrier would, but to each their own. It really depends on your playstyle. I'm just giving you my tips on kind of how I like to play Domina. So, but I will say these are the perks that I like to use personally. Another piece of Domina is her ult. So Panopticon, let's talk about this one. So Panopticon detonates is a barrier that pretty much blocks all damage and all heals for 5 seconds. I think the exception being Mercy Pockets and maybe Zen Orbs are the only heals that will possibly get through during Panopticon. But the big piece of it is that they can't do any damage to you during Panopticon. So in that time frame, they have 5 seconds to break the barrier. So the damage that will be done depends on how much damage they do to break out of that barrier in 5 seconds. The top range of the damage being 300 damage, the lowest being 100 damage. So worst case scenario, if they don't break it, but they do damage, you're going to do 100 damage. If they don't do anything and they have no idea what's going on, they just lost the plot, which I tend to see a lot of mercies just losing the plot in this. They'll absolutely take 300 damage and just die. So any squishy who does not do damage or break this barrier is going to die. If they don't do any damage to it and it just explodes, guaranteed insta kill. The big piece of this as well, though, is that their teammates can break the shields for them. So you do have to be wary that, you know, it is a very, once you understand this ult, it is somewhat easy to not die to this. So it's pretty easy to not die. But you can use it in other scenarios. So, you know, when an enemy team is pushing up and you know you're not going to get any kills, but, you know, your team is kind of getting drove back and you want to kind of shift the momentum, you can pop this ult. They can't do any damage to you for a moment, and you can do pretty much free damage for 5 seconds that you're able to do to them if they're not able to break it. Or even if they do break it, usually they're not going to break it until there's like a second left. So that's about 3 to 4 seconds where you just get free damage on them. So take advantage of that. Understand that, you know, you probably, especially as you get into you know, better lobbies, you're not going to see a ton of kills from this. So don't expect, you know, a lot of 5Ks from Domina's ult, but you never know. If they're just not doing what they need to do, or there's for some reason there's a delay, you can get some nice picks off of this, but just don't expect it. But use it. You can use it in other ways, like I said. So you don't necessarily have to go in expecting a team kill off of every Domina ult, but it is have a lot of util in itself just by the fact that it blocks heals and blocks damage. So keep that in mind whenever you're using it. But I think it's a great ult. I think it's really, really, really good, especially to engage in a fight or at the very end of a fight where it's kind of like leaning one way or the other. This will pretty much almost guarantee to win you the fight. That gives your teammates an opportunity to pretty much do free damage and you just go to town. So keep that in mind and make sure you're using your ult wisely. Hopefully in my gameplay it reflects that, but mind you, I was learning. So, but other than that, I don't think Domina's kit is too crazy to understand. There's nothing too complicated. Just understanding how you like to play and kind of using her abilities to the best that you can is really where it's going to come into play. So, you know, like I said, I like to play my range before I engage and then do my brawling and get up out of there. But, you know, you might like to brawl and, you know, vice versa. So just make sure that you understand how Domina's kit works to be able to do that and just kind of help it maximize your own playstyle. Another piece that I did want to talk about is stunning up enemies out of their ult with sonic repulsors. So the big thing with this is just stunning your enemy like this will not cancel ult. I had to learn this the hard way. That will not cancel any ults whatsoever. You will get beamed. You will get dug in. Please don't do that. But what you can do is stun them into a wall. Or if you pick the barrier array, you can put your barrier up and stun them into your barrier. So by hitting, as soon as they hit a wall, they are actually stunned, and that will cancel everything. Will cancel any ults. So I don't think there's any ults that, I genuinely don't think there's any ults that you cannot cancel. If you do it obviously soon enough before they get it off. So keep that in mind when you are using that stun to try to cancel ults. But yeah, the biggest one that I ran into that it was the most struggle was a Sigma ult, because I'm like, dude, I'm stunning him. I don't know why he's not doing it. And it took me quite a while to realize that you have to hit them into something to stop the ult. It will not work otherwise. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, like I said, Domina's kit in itself is not too complicated. So, you know, just do your best to kind of utilize her kit to the best of your abilities with your own individual playstyle. But I just think Domina's super fun in general, and I think you guys will see that in the gameplay. So let's get into it. All right, we got this, y'all. We're not going to get tilted. We're going to play our game. We're going to do our thing, and we're going to win. Got this, we're pushing them back. Keep creating space. Keep creating space. Heal for my healers. Oh, you're fried. So are you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Overseer cooked. We're operating at an efficient and high level, chat. I feel it flowing through me. The flow state is activating in ways I cannot comprehend and in ways I cannot articulate in the English language. Zara, huh? Yeah, you're fucked. No bubble. Oh yeah. Sitting on that. Let's go. Ooh, boy. What are you boys getting fried? These boys are getting fried, chat. Come on. Oh, you're cooked, bro. Oh my lordy lord. Ooh. 21-0 first round, chat. 21-0 first fucking round. Talk to me nice, talk to me nice, talk to me nice. You put some respect on my name, chat. I need to put some respect on me. I need to put some respect on Java, bro. Let's go. All we gotta do is lock in real quick and we're chilling. We should finish them first point. Our DPS going crazy, support's going crazy. Everybody's playing good. Oh, she went Domina too. Domina. Oh yeah. Come on. Oh shit. Back up. Overextend for me real quick so I can stun you, dumbass. Overextend. Oh yeah, that's fat. Ooh, that's fat. That's fat, chat. That's fat. That's fat. We're cooking. That's so fat. I'm dead here. Oh, I need you, Kiri. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You jolt. Come on. Walk up. Walk up then. Walk up, soldier. Feeling bold. Walk up. Interesting. Let's go. Woo. 35 and fucking 1. Oh lord. You already knew it was gonna be Java. We already knew who it was gonna be. They're killing me with this silver shit, bro.